Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a best of 5 series of Terran versus Protoss. Now what I've got for you today is a match that's been recommended to me many times. It is time for me and for you to go ahead and finally have a look at it. A Terran versus Protoss where we're starting off with Maru in the upper left, and we have none other than Clem in the bottom right. Now, as you probably know by now, Clem, he does not play Terran versus Terran. He hasn't played Terran versus Terran in like a year and a half now at this point. Maybe longer than that. I mean, maybe occasionally on the ladder. Or maybe occasionally in a tournament if he accidentally picks the wrong race. But no, it is him playing Protoss every single time. And this kind of started off as a bit of a gag. He just really doesn't like Terran versus Terran. And the last few times that I've seen him play Protoss, I mean, it just kind of looks like he's maybe top 3, top 4 or so best PvT player on the planet. He's an absolute monster. He doesn't really have any weaknesses anymore. So in a match like this, I still would favor Maru just because Maru is an absolute beast. He rarely loses this matchup anyways, but he is mortal. That series I recently cast of Maru going up, for example, against Hero, that one comes to mind, as he is likely gonna, lose the scouting SCV here. 3 probes, though, already pulled. Engineering Bay block has been, well, planted down already, but I think Clem is gonna be able to get that command center, or the Nexus right here for him this time around. He's gonna be able to start that up relatively easily here in just a moment. Now, this particular series is from the Liu Cup, so a $10,000 tournament. A Chinese tournament organizer decided to put this one on, so very exciting because, well, more StarCraft is better for all of us. And obviously, well, whenever you see Maru play in quite literally any event, you know that there's going to be a decent little bit of cash on the line. Clem, he signs up for everything. He's done very well for himself financially over the years as well, of course. I mean, winning the World Championship, when was this? 2024. That was a $450,000 first place prize for him, so you know he's doing all right for himself. But across the board, he still plays in everything, which is pretty sick. There's always this thing with pro gamers, right, where playing in fewer tournaments may make you a little bit more mysterious. Maybe it makes you a little bit more difficult to predict. So that's usually been the mindset of a lot of the top dogs. But Clem, players like Björn, players like Hero, they do not care. They play in quite literally everything all of the time. If you have a $50 tournament, the odds of Björn signing up, for example, are pretty much 100%. Björn loves playing StarCraft, and I think the same can be said right here for Clem. He has never really taken much of a break. Okay. So far, the dancing here has been good. Neither player really pulling too far ahead. A little bit of damage done across the board, but across, for the actual stage of the game, it doesn't really matter all too much. What Maru does have going for himself, though, here is a one-base build. One-base openers are weird. We never really see this anymore from Terran. I mean, it is a viable style, but Clem is going to be wondering as well at this point, like, where is your command center? Why has it not been landed on the low ground? The difficult thing right here for Clem is that he doesn't know if it's just barely outside of his vision range. He doesn't know if Terran did start it up, but he just can't see that it has. This can obviously be Maru playing a bit of a trick as well. That's one of the difficult things as a Protoss here. Sure, you have not seen a command center, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Fortunately, though, for Clem, Blink is a really good, not just, well, offensively, but also, of course, defensively. Getting the Blink upgrade done should certainly be his top priority. He's getting a Robo facility too, so he can maybe get some additional scouting, maybe get an Immortal out as well to gun down any siege tanks. But here we are. Maru is going for his first push of the day. He's a big fan of this playstyle. We are gonna send out the boys. And this is effectively Baby's first timing attack, right? I mean, it's I'm just gonna make a bunch of stuff on one base as Terran, and then I pull most of the SCVs, and we go. It's time to micro. Third Nexus is not what we need right now, Clem. All we want is unit production. Prism is going to be his first unit out of the Robo facility. Backup pylon already. This one over here is going to go down. That means that there are still 3 gateways available, which is important here for Clem. If he would have only had like one gateway here inside of the main base, that would be problematic. Big blink forward though, but the mass repair there of the SCVs is really good. Probes are pulled to the front lines as well. The siege tank still lives. No way. Maru gets the job done in just a matter of minutes. And just like that, we find ourselves... What is going on? The observers are freaking out. All right, anyways. Just like that, we find ourselves on 10,000 feet. Now, I will say, I just mentioned, right, that I think Clem is one of the very best Protoss versus Terran players on the planet. And I truly believe that. But historically, he has struggled more against these weird build orders that some Terran players like to go for. I think in a straight-up game of TVP, Clem is amazing. One of the very best. But this is the type of game right now, yet again, where Maru is going for something that is uncommon. What is happening here? Is this a proxy Rex? Well, this is what we used to call a Maca Rex. If you are a StarCraft 2 boomer like myself, if you've been watching this game ever since the early Wings of Liberty days, there used to be a Terran player called Maca who used to do this all the time. Hey, I just realized I'm on camera. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just yapping here, and I glanced at my second monitor, and I see myself. Sorry, didn't mean to give you a jump scare. My bad. I got excited when I saw the Rex. Ooh, we have a secondary structure out on the map as well, though. Bunker out front, hiding behind the Terrans. Well, the blue Terran here, masquerading as a Protoss. He's hiding it behind the Naturals mineral line. Stalker going in. I don't really like watching people cast games with cameras on usually. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Maybe, I know a lot of people do like it. I'm actually interested. Let me know. Do you prefer it to cast with, or if you watch anybody cast games, do you prefer it with player cams or caster cams on? Like, is this better? Like, when you look at my, is this nice? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Bunker in the back of the Terran's, man, I keep calling Clem the Terran. But this is a messy cast, I apologize. Bunker is indeed done. Reaper is gonna have to run home. You know, actually, fun fact, the consideration I made years ago to not cast games with a camera on was not because I didn't have the setup for it or because I didn't think I just didn't shower in the morning. I didn't want to shower, and I just wanted to cast games as soon as I rolled out of bed. I was like, I'm not gonna shower for StarCraft casts. We'll do that after I cast SC2. Usually the morning kind of looked like this, okay? I would roll out of bed, cast a game of StarCraft, go to the gym, shower, start my stream. These days, my daily build order is a little bit different. So now it doesn't really matter anymore. But that was the main consideration I made back in, like, when was this? Like 2015 or so. It's been a little while. Anyways. Maru opening up with a very aggressive style yet again, but Clem has deflected all of it very nicely. It's a bit of a messy natural. There's a lot of openings into his base. But he's going to be able to prevent the Terran from slipping in. Well, the Terran units out front. Not so much the Medevac drop. Maru's going to try and see if he can burrow. Gets at least a couple of kills. Fair enough. There's still one Widow Mine inside of the Medevac. Oh, careful, careful, careful! Oh, jeez. That was just about a split second away from absolute disaster for Clem. Honestly, this is still horrible for him, though, because there's so much lost mining time. Sure, he only lost a handful of workers here. But if I open up the income advantage tab, yeah, there is a massive boost in favor of the Terran. Because, of course, he, well, was mining with mules. And pretty much the entire Protoss economy was distracted. And you know what? Now they're gonna get distracted by the Reapers. Reapers rarely get a seat in the private jet that is the Medevac. But you know what? They got boosted in. They are still biological. They can still be healed up. Sadly for them, though, the jet has left without them inside of it. They're gonna get sacrificed here, but their damage, it has been maximized. Not bad at all. Stalker's going in around the site right now. There is Blink. Observer, though, gets killed. Excellent, excellent vision right there from Maru. He noticed the little blur. He knew that it would be arriving right about right now. And that pretty much shuts down the Stalker aggression. Clem could try. Oh, this is a misplay. Clem could try and go around the site. But there's plenty of tanks available here, I think. And it'll be difficult for the Protoss player to really know if it's safe. So, instead we have ourselves a third Nexus coming up. Blink on the back of this as well. Forge inside of the main base. Auto turret gets dropped down. Strong showing, though, so far here for Maru, who has apparently decided, I think this is the mindset going into the match for him. Sure, if I play a straight-up game against Clem, it's gonna be tough. So, what about I open up in some of the strangest ways possible, and we will let Clem navigate that. I think every StarCraft player has experienced this. Maybe you're really confident in, well, one particular playstyle, right? Like, if the opponent opens up with a hatchery first and opens up with a normal Ling Bane build or whatever in Terran versus Zerg, then you know exactly what to do. But if the Zerg decides to do this weird, like, 2-base Muta build or some strange Nidus Worm strategies, when they start to, yeah, really mix things up, usually that's where a lot of people struggle, or maybe you're the type of player that's really good against cheese, but really struggles in the straight-up macro games. I think it's intelligent, though, for Maru, because Maru can play straight-up macro. It's what he does most of the time, but he's excellent at mixing things up. And you can pretty much see the gears turning right here inside of Clem's mind. Third command center is going to be secured. Stimpack, +1, combat shields. The holy trinity of Terran upgrades. It is all finishing up right now. Massive power spike right here for Maru. So he's going to test the waters. In the meantime, he starts up that third base. Hallucinated Phoenix will see that there's nothing remaining at home anymore. But is there enough for Clem to now defend against this? Colossus is coming. +1 is just seconds away from finishing. But the siege tanks are already in position. Is the Colossus even going to spawn? Maru could have sniped it. Maybe Maru will snipe it. The Robo Facility Radar is so low. The Colossus does pop out in the end. And that may just be Clem's saving grace. The Colossus even lives. Oi, oi, oi. That Robo Facility could have gone down. And I think that would have changed the outcome of the game entirely. This match may have been over if Maru sniped it just about a second sooner. Good hold right here for Clem in the end. He had to get a little bit lucky. But of course, this is always a game about incomplete information, and Maru made the best of what he knew. And that just solidly put Clem back into, this game. It was all a little bit messy. Supply-wise, he was starting to fall behind. Now, though, he's in a position where he can actually, well, grab the map control back. Third command center did finish, but it's far out in the open. There's not that much anti-air. SCVs are going to be pulled to try and save it. Oh, we have the Terran player now even getting charged at. Is there a prism anywhere nearby? No, no warp prism available just yet here for Clem. There's a medevac drop, though, sneaking around the side yet again. Maybe whilst Clem is distracted, trying to break open the natural expansion, the Widowmine drop can go in. Clem, though, a little bit too quick on the buttons. He is gonna, micro the units yet again, and I think that is gonna be the end of this Widowmine drop. Decent bit of damage done, though. We have another auto turret drop down from that Raven as well, a little bit further to the right. There is a Nexus fired up in the top right-hand corner, too. Clem decides to push the issue. Okay, he's got some units out. Still no prism, though, so he can't really shove too far forward. He just wanted to get the bunker, maybe make Maru sweat a little bit, but ultimately he decides to back off once again. All right. So, as the dust settles, who's in a more comfortable position? Well, Clem is getting his economy going right now. Obviously, he has lost a solid number of probes, 20 of them in total. Problem right here for Maru is that if this pressure of the Protoss is constantly held on, it's so scary for him to sneak out with medevac drops like this. Maru did, however, decide to commit with 3, full medevacs, basically 30 supply worth of stuff. Another medevac is gonna get jumped on. Auto turret planted down yet again. Missile turret, though, or missile turret, the shield battery here, repairing it back up. Scanning the main base reveals that there's nothing to defend against this drop. Maru might be able to get some real damage done, or at the very least, he's gonna force Clem's hand. Clem wants to just break open the natural altogether. SCV's pulled yet again. We decide to recall some of those Protoss units, and once more, oh, that's a feisty move. The best defense is the offense. Maru gets this Protoss player to back off by dropping him inside of the main base. I really love how he anticipated the recall there and then left the Widow Mines behind. Third base, though, is of the essence now. We're 11 minutes in. Maru's economy has been absolutely down the gutter if he does not, well, get this base up soon. Medevac drop is all the way back once more. Those Colossi are just roasting too many units. And without the third base secured, Maru knows that his minutes in this game are numbered. He decides to rip off the Band-Aid, and that means that Clem evens up the score. Alrighty, and that takes us to the Celestial Enclave. I saw a couple of YouTube comments of me not saying Celestial Enclave appropriately last time around. I want to formally apologize for not activating the reverb button every single time when I say the word Celestial Enclave. Apparently that's important. Yeah, who would have known? Who would have known? Alrighty, this is a rather complex map. Obviously, this is the one then where Maru decides to open up with a very conventional build. No surprise there. Nexus on the low ground right here as well for Clem. Man, imagine in that previous game, if Maru had actually targeted down the Robo facility right before the Colossus popped. That would have been an entirely different game. It would have, yeah, it would have been an absolute disaster, I think, for Clem. We would have been looking at a 2-0 advantage at this point for Terran. Which is pretty much insurmountable, I think, I mean, if anybody can do it, it would probably be Clem, but 3 games back-to-back-to-back against Maru, winning all of them? I don't know, man. Instead, right here, the series has now been reduced to effectively a best of 3. I actually hate it when casters say that. Yeah, it's not. This is still a best of 5. The score has been evened up, sure, but... Nah, in this particular instance, though, the tone has been set with Maru playing some weirder strategies, some weirder build orders, but this can still certainly be anybody's series. Twilight Council opener here for Clem. We're gonna go Adept here into a Sentry. Actually, no, he cancels the Sentry, goes into a Stalker. So, double Sentry. Or, sorry, double Adept, rather, into a Stalker. And I'm assuming we're gonna go good old Blink. Yep. Third base, though, has already been fired up right here for Maru. So, he is using the Celestial Enclave setup to his advantage. Making sure that it's difficult here for Protoss to really scout this sort of thing out. That's where, for example, a Hallucinated Phoenix opener can be super nice. Reaper joining in the fray as well, just to get these units off his lawn. Nice micro, though, by Clem, who hasn't really lost a whole lot. Robo facility on the back of this here for him. And Blink is going to be available in about a minute or so time. But yeah, I think it's already a little bit too late for those Stalkers to be all too useful when it comes to shutting down the Terran's economy. Because Maru already has finished up all of the structures. Now, how many gateways are we going to make here as Protoss before we plant down a third Nexus? I think we're probably going to go... No, actually, he's going to go up to 4. Wow. 4 Nexus, or sorry, 4 Gateway is indicative that Clem really wants to commit to a push. He'll probably make a third. He could build it over here. I would like to see it out here, to be honest. This in-base expansion just doesn't have that much mining. But when you go for 4 gateways in total, either you assume that Terran is going to be pushing you, or you are planning on going, not quite all in, but you at the very least have the potential to go for an all in if you want to. I guess it's scary, though, playing against Maru. Maru's been winning a lot of his games lately by going for SCV pools. And maybe that's what Clem is reading this game like right now. Well, he's been scouting at the front lines non-stop here. He's been checking the Terran's main base in the natural, and he will see that there is no movement here. So that means the Stalkers have their work cut out for them. They need to deal damage. Maru doesn't have as many units, though. Obviously, he has no siege tanks or anything along those lines. He needs to be filling up that bunker. I wouldn't even mind seeing a secondary bunker, but there's the third Nexus out front. Clem really needs to get work done with this, but the Stalker numbers are big. He can actually just jump on that. Yeah, that bunker is going to be dead in just a heartbeat. The Marauder count has been growing. Stimpack +1, combat shields, all of it is coming. In about a half minute, these Terran units will hit a big power spike, but Clem, he's actually hitting right at the perfect time, and the Stalker micro is excellent. He's blinking, and then he's also obviously microing them using the Warp Prism itself. New bunker coming up for Maru. 7 SCVs did die. Okay. I think it's holdable for Maru now. His units are just so much more powerful than they were a little bit ago. But it's all very, very close. Nice micro, though, by Clem. The amount of value you can just get out of Stalkers, right, when you are really good at the game is kind of insane. Decides to continue. May as well. You can always blink backwards. And the numbers here on Maru's end are really not that big. Hold up right now. Does he even have enough units to push this away? There's obviously no Medevacs available, so all these stims are super expensive. He's targeting down the Medevac, though, or the Prism, and the Prism does end up falling. Overextension here by Clem in the end. For all of the losses, 15 Stalkers in total, he did get 20 SCV kills, and then a whole lot of Marauders and Marines as well. 2 bunkers to boot. I don't think it's the end of the world here, but with this many Stalkers, he can't really do that much anymore. Losing the Prism, especially the ones with a few units inside of it, a little risky. Is he gonna blink across this little crevice? Probably not. Now it looks to me like we are gonna go full Gateway Man. No gas is taken over at the third. Quick fourth Nexus as well on the back of this. And more gateways building, well, all over the Protoss bases. What about this counterattack, though? This is a crazy counterattack, because Maru still does not have a Medevac. No Medevacs anywhere. So that means that every stim is so freaking expensive, but I think this move out, even though it's a little insane, is the exact right thing to do. What's even crazier is that he actually stimmed, like, halfway through the map, it seemed. These units came in running with Stimpack already activated. Look, here's more of them. Maru's just rallying units straight through the middle. Nice micro here by Clem, who's going to be warping in new Stalkers in the middle of the battle. Another one of them dies outside of the Prism. Clem really needs to pull out all the tricks. Hey, how about we make a couple of Medevacs, dude? They're arguably the best unit Terran has. All right, starport coming up right now together with a reactor. It's so risky to use stim, because you end up effectively killing like 20% of your own army. There's another stim. If Clem can run, that would be all he really needs to do. Charge is going to finish up in the next 30 seconds, and that's going to make all of this so much easier to defend. Maru does not really have an answer against Charge here at all. Has to reactivate Stimpack once more. The 1-1 upgrades, though, are so freaking powerful. He's getting an armory going so he can go into 2-2. But Clem stabilizing here is absolutely massive. Okay. Third command center? No, fourth command center coming up right here for the South Korean Terran. Clem, though, is gonna go and play the Gateway Man style. So, Gateway Man, you basically just make an insane amount of Protoss units. You kind of pretend that you are a Zerg, you know? This is kind of like Mass Roach Ravager, or like Ling Bane, or Roach Bane, or Roach Hydra, or something along those lines, but relatively low tech. He might switch in some High Templar later, or maybe some Disruptors, or something along those lines. But for the most part, this is going to be low gas, and then just an insane amount of relatively low tier units. Yeah, we do indeed go into the Robo Bay here. Fourth command center just about to finish up. It's going to be difficult for Maru to break out of this position. That's exactly what Clem is trying to use against this Terran player. He's got all the map under his control. He doesn't really have that many workers, though. Usually we see this sort of style off of more probes than what Clem currently has. Clem is double upgrading his own units too, but he's a little bit behind in that regard. There's the 5th going up. Clem going for this one as his 5th? Really? I would have assumed this one, that one, and even the middle base before this high ground one. Admittedly, though, this is not one that Maru is likely to be checking for either, so fair enough. And here goes Clem again. So he sees that this base is being attempted. I love the siege tanks up on that high ground, though. And while the siege tank numbers aren't that big, they are going to be really nice against all of those zealots. Clem does go charging in, but needs to be careful. Nice micro here by Maru. Yeah, I think this base is guaranteed now, Clem. Nothing you can really do about it. And you know what? To rub salt in the wound, it's an orbital command, not a planetary. I kind of love that. The fact that he decided to go orbital in the face of this many Protoss units is kind of sick. Stutter step control right here for Maru, as expected, is excellent. He's going to finish 2-2. It'll make this army so much more formidable. And I think this game is going all right here for the Terran. There's still so many units, though, that Clem can warp in. He's got 10 gateways available at this point. We'll probably see a little bit Colossus production and then potentially a switch as well to Disruptors. He did add on some additional probes too, so the worker count is nice, but yeah, these kind of warp-ins are easy to counter. Prism is going to go down and the Zealots are also going to fall. Clem is trying to see if he can sandwich these units, but that's not going to happen. That kind of felt like a freebie. Now with 2-2 done, and with the Ghost production kicking in, Maru decides to test the waters himself. Now, he doesn't know about this base. Clem is going to go for the right side expansion too. Maru likely assuming that the low ground... Oh, free Colossus? Oh, dude. You never look a gift Colossus in the mouth. They don't even have mouths, do they? Likewise, a gift Ghost. You never really worry about those. Now, is there enough for this Protoss player to hold on? He's going to have to sandwich all of the troops. Protoss is coming in from every side. Maru is just sort of stimming and standing his ground, but I think that's all he really needs to do. He's just got such a large army. Yeah. Maru establishing a massive economy early on. YOLO stimming, it seemed, straight through the middle of the map earlier. But now he has come back for revenge. And this time around, this is an army that is here to stay. He can heal it all up. He's going to unpower the gateways. And he's going to force Clem out of the game. GG. Next up, we find ourselves on the map Mothership. Match point right here for Maru. I know there's some StarCraft casters out there that call him Maru. 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 The most Dutch pronunciation would be Maru. I do automatically assume everybody's name is Dutch. Even when I'm speaking English. I think Maru is good, though. It's a great username. Cheeky little starport. Curious location. Maru has scouted out where, well, the Protoss didn't spawn. Through the process of elimination. He's so intelligent, dude. With 3 spawn locations, he knew where the opponent wasn't. He also knew where he spawned himself. Man, big brain Maru knows where the opponent is. But this starport is still a little bit odd. And before he sends a Liberator this direction. Yeah, he's still a Terran player. Yeah, you can't make assumptions too hard. But I think it's safe to say that he knows where the opponent currently is. Twilight Council coming up. Clem, he loves Twilight Councils. And this is another one of those builds, right? That's just a little bit weird. Maru really trying to rely on weirdness to throw Clem off. Another thing I think that you can criticize Clem's Protoss versus Terran for is that it's pretty predictable. Like, it's always Blink Stalkers. Okay, maybe not always, but like 90% of the time, it's Blink Stalker. And while that is the go-to build, and it's really good, it is the meta for a long time, for a good reason. This is something that Maru can use against him. Now, there is a shield battery available, so that's making it a little bit difficult for Maru to break through. But he's going to be able to get the cloak benchies out. I would imagine we make 2 of them. Two is nice because you can one-shot the probes with that. If there's like a shield battery and you target this one down, you get 1 hit. It heals a little bit. You get a 2nd hit. It heals a little bit. You can eventually kill them, but you really want 2 so you can shoot them at the same time. Clem, though, is going to test the waters here with these stalkers, and I think the siege tank alone is going to be enough. You still have to be careful here as the Terran, because you do miss one of your big production structures on the other side of the map. Okay. Now, is there any form of detection out for the Protoss at this point in time? There is not. We should see an observer after this robo facility production. Clem could be in a world of trouble. He can afford to lose a handful of probes. There's the observer. Okay, he does make one before he absolutely needs it. Problem is, the stalkers are on the other side of the map. I'm saying 8 probes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, Clem also hates the 6-7 meme. That's why I decided to stop. Smart man. Gen Alpha in shambles right now. Oh, thank God. Alright, well, it's only 6 now. I think 8 would have been better, believe it or not. Since it's a bigger number, I think it'd be better. Oh, no. Does this justify going for the proxy? Kind of. There is a follow-up benchy and then even a 4th one, too. Usually, we would only commit to 2 of them. He knows, obviously, where those... Oh, it's 8, look. He now knows where the shield battery is. So he knows roughly where he can position these benchies and still be out of range. Now, don't actually kill exactly 8, Maru. Now people are gonna assume that I have pre-watched the game. I never pre-watch games before casting them, dude. You're making me look too good, Maru. Can you please kill some more? Oh, no. He killed exactly 8. Wow. Scan on the other side of the map will reveal that there is indeed a command center on the back of this. And a whole lot of siege tanks already. Not much you can do there as the Protoss, but he is getting charged. And I'm assuming we are just going to keep playing the macro game here. Rebuilding the workers makes a lot of sense. He could even build another base if he really wants to. He needs to be a bit careful, though, with the siege tank pushes. Maru can obviously use those benchies as well for scouting purposes. Okay. No, pre-watching games is really stupid. I'm sure there's folks out there that do. But pre-watching games before you cast them just so you can look smart? Eh. Kind of feels like cheating. We don't like cheating. Robo facility. We're going to be extending the thermal lance here before too long. Reapers going in around the site again, though, for Maru, which is kind of fun. We haven't seen those move in for a bit. Not really much you can do, though, with this number of stalkers against the heavy number of siege tanks at this point in time. 4th Nexus starts up immediately. Clem now realizing that it's not going to be the case. Starport will have to fly all the way back home. And ultimately, this has been an aggressive early game from Maru. Has it really been worthwhile? I think even though it's 11 workers killed, okay, 12 workers killed, it's a lot, but likewise, Maru also had to sacrifice a lot in order to pull this sort of thing off. Like, he lost a lot of units, and obviously he also lost production time on that starport. Now, we've already seen that he doesn't really need medevacs, apparently. But I think it's still useful to get those going here momentarily. And Clem has effectively been given a free pass right now straight into Robo Bay. So, Colossus are going to be very difficult to counter. I mean, it kind of depends on where the siege tanks can siege up. The ball is very much so in Maru's court. He's going to have to do something. There is a 3rd command center, so technically he could play this defensively and just sort of sit. Okay, yeah. If he believes that he can't go for a move out, which seems to be the case, it's probably the best thing to do, but this is giving Protoss a ton of freedom. You can do some damage with the Banshees, sure. But this now effectively means that Clem is going to be left to his own for at least a few minutes' time. Okay, these... Oh, what did I do? Ah! We're back. Nobody noticed anything. I totally did not accidentally reset the timer of the replay. Man, this is the messiest cast I've done ever since, well, returning to casting. I will say, so in case you're unfamiliar, I've obviously been uploading pretty much near daily videos, but over the last month, I had an ear operation. Our firstborn daughter, I mean, she's here now, and I've not been sleeping very much. You may have already heard a little bit of the sleep deprivation kick in, but I prepped a lot of videos in advance, and I basically didn't cast anything for like a month. I gotta say, it's really fun to be back, though. I've actually really missed casting games of StarCraft 2. I know that sounds kind of cringe, but it's so much fun, man. I love this game. It's so good. I'm gonna keep doing this for a long time to come, hopefully. As long as there's games to cast, I'll be casting them. Anyhow, this is by far the messiest cast that I have done over the last week and a half or so. Anyhow, Disruptor transition coming up right here for Clem. New Nexus out front. You know, I used to actually think back in the day that people really would dislike messy casts. Or like, you know, the less than professional commentary. But then I learned over the years that people actually really love live blooper reels. Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen like outtakes of, say, for example, The Office. The Office bloopers are absolutely amazing, and I guess we can mix them in. We'll just throw them in live instead. Double upgrades here for Clem. +3 attack already coming up. Maru is playing this super slowly now. He wants to grab this this Nexus or this command center on the right side. But he's basically just letting Clem do whatever he likes. And this I never really loved. Now he's going into mass command center on the back of this. So Maru is gonna try and play the big macro game. But I'm always a little bit worried when we see Terran players approach the game like this. He's effectively giving Clem a free pass to do whatever he likes. Now apparently what he likes is jump this. Oh, a couple of Novas do connect there with 2 tanks. But he's giving Clem a free pass to do whatever. Be it Sky Toss, be it Mass Expand, be it Mass Robo, be it Mass Gateway Man, be it 110 probes. Like, Clem can basically do whatever he likes. And Maru is saying, okay, I'll go for like a jack of all trades type of army that works well against all things Protoss. But it is not very specialized. I'm just gonna sit here and turtle up and make it difficult for Protoss to engage. But if you look at the mini-map right now, you can definitely already tell that Clem has taken this, this liberty to heart. He's just grabbing whatever base he likes. Fusion core coming up. Oh, Prism does get sniped. But Clem has got so much money that he can just keep this going for a long time to come. And Maru needs to be careful that he does not get gobbled up from the inside out. I honestly wouldn't even mind it if I saw additional probes on the production tab here for Clem. I think you can go up to more than this. 90 to 100 would probably be okay. Anyhow, this is a dangerous push though. The siege tanks are really well positioned. Oh, nice Nova. 14 kills on that Disruptor. But this is so many orbitals. Difficult to really engage into it. Clem dancing around, playing with fire, trying his absolute best. He is going to get a couple more siege tanks for his troubles, but he does have to overextend the Colossus a little bit, so that means the Vikings ended up sniping one. And while Clem is trying to break through, Maru's defense seems to be locked tight. Dark Templar as a follow-up could be nice. We're going to have to see a lot more gas production, though. Liberators, though, are coming up already for Maru. Advanced Ballistics, that's the ranged upgrade for Liberators, also coming up. Siege tanks inch closer yet again. Into the funnel we go. Couple of the Novas try to reach. They won't quite get the job done, and that was really nice for Maru. Yeah, Maru is just pretty much impossible to break. When he's turtling like this, like he's still a very active turtle, you know? He's not just sitting there. He's not just a stationary target. Constantly repositioning the tanks makes it so difficult as well for Protoss to decide where to go. Another Nova does get a decent hit in, but I think this is plenty of Terran to get rid of this army for now. And that means a planetary right in the middle is going to come up. Well, Clem is going to try and see if he can prevent it. Liberators on siege. Another Nova does break through. Good bit of damage dealt here by the Protoss player from France. Do you think they pronounce it proto? Because they never pronounce the last letter in French words, right? So it has to be proto. Or maybe it's just one S. Protoss. Very short S. C'est très bien. With the Terran units, though, more condensed towards the front. I guess we can go in around the site. Not a lot of units over here anymore. Obviously, that orbital command is gone over in this spot, too. Choke point, Nova, yet again. Now the rest of the Protoss army is moving in around the site, and Clem is doing some really intelligent positioning. That's another orbital dead. Nice movement here by Clem. Fires up another Colossus. Maru slowly making the transition towards this proper Protoss, or proper Terran late game, right? So building armor, the high-sec auto-tracking upgrade. We could see the Caduceus reactor research still. Did he just kill one of his own units? I think he did. I would love to see the Caduceus reactor upgrade for the Medevacs. Clem actually taking the forward base here really nice and early. It's a bit risky, but I think it's smart if the game does drag out for a really long time. Planetary done out front, though. That's going to make it difficult for Protoss to break through this spot. He's going to test the waters here around the site yet again. Oh, he actually already has it. I was wondering why he didn't start it up yet. Caduceus reactor must have been something that he got really nice and early. These Medevacs are never running out of energy. A couple of Dark Templar did get warped in. Actually, more than a couple. Ooh, Liberators, though, on siege for just a moment. And Clem decides to strike while the iron is hot. That was expensive here for Protoss, but he did kill quite a few of the Libs. What about the little hit squad of Terran Marines and Marauders over here on the right? They're running away from Zealots. Trying to back up again to the safety of the Planetary. The safety of the Liberators. Fight in the middle. How about this one? Is Clem going to be able to break it? He's very close to killing the Planetary Fortress, but he does not quite get the kill on it. Maru keeps it alive, and this may be the moment that Maru decides to trampoline across the map. Ghost cloaking is going to be done here in just a sec. More and more Nexi building as well on the left side of the map. Clem effectively taking whatever base he can find. Now he's got double speed prism available too. Sure, there's a bunch of missile turrets, but what about you just sail straight into the main? Maybe one of the prisms will die, but that's the sacrifice Clem is willing to make. I think we're gonna go. Yep, YOLO in. Awkwardly enough though, Clem is actually maxed. So he can't warp in that many units. So that's why he's pushing as well out front, hoping to maybe lose a couple of those troops. So he can actually do a big warp in. Loses the second prism too. Couldn't even really get more than 3 Zealots out. That was a fail. But the entirety of the Terran army was distracted for a moment. Maru immediately cycling it back to the middle. He knew where those units were going to be popping up next. And Maru's defensive play, still excellent. He did deal a bit of damage here as well on that right side base. If we look at the resources lost, this is the real story, right? Maru getting like a not quite a 2-for-1, but he's getting a decent exchange, let's say. Clem has got so much income that it's going to be difficult for Maru to really push all of this away, regardless of the cost efficiency. A lot of units here of the Terran actually taking a wrong turn. They did chase. Liberator ends up going down. They did chase and paid the price because of it. Yeah, look at the mini-map now. Clem has basically taken every base that he could ever need. More and more Zealots now breaking through. And you know what? Even though the Medivacks have been full of energy for a long time, the Liberator count has now been drastically reduced, and it's allowing Clem a lot more pushing potential here in the middle. Is he finally going to be able to get that planetary? He will. And that suddenly loses Maru this anchor right in the middle of all of his bases. Like, that's actually a critical kill, mostly for precision. Now a lot of the Zealots, actually the Colossus, there's so many of them out as well. Trying their best to destroy all of these Terran units. And despite the fact that there are 7 orbital comments available here for Maru, he doesn't have enough mineral fields to really be mining. Clem has got mineral fields for days. 31 SCVs on just like 7 or so mineral fields here. Another command center. I don't know if that's what we need, but I guess he wants to plant one additional planetary down in that same location. Clem now going in for the mass Dark Templar warpins too. Another expensive play, but he wants to try and see if he can really grab the advantage once and for all as he takes an offensive Nexus. He's taking every last base. Clem is basically giving me the thumbnail for this particular video. He's taking the whole minimap. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it's a disaster now for Maru. Maru is rich, but not rich enough. And this seems to be a thing that a lot of rich people in real life struggle with too, you know? Like, maybe you're rich, but there's always someone that's richer. And even though Maru has had all the economy that he needed, he has not been able to face off against this Protoss army very nicely at all. 22 SCVs remain. He still has a bigger army. When he puts everything in one big group, he still has a bigger army than the Protoss player has. But Clem can keep reinforcing this for what seems to be days to come, whereas Maru is effectively now able to just go for one final attack. And maybe I shouldn't even say final attack. It kind of feels like his first attack. He hasn't seen the other side of the map ever since the Banshee opener, right? Like, it's been a while. He hasn't been on the other side of the map in about 15 minutes. And now he's moving in for one final play. Now, this is a huge Terran army. This is an army that will beat the Protoss in a straight-up fight for sure. Disruptor Novas as a distraction, as a delay tactic, very good. Zealot run-by for the same reason, also very good. One big problem here for the Terran, though, is that all these units are very low in HP. Yes, we have Medivacks. Yes, they have their energy improvement, but they haven't got a whole lot of time. Zealot's now going after, the orbital command that's been set up here in the middle, and that's another mineral line gone. At this point, more and more reinforcements are coming in. Clem evens up the score. And that means it all comes down to this final game in this best of 5 series. It takes place on the map White Rabbit, and Maru is doing Maru things. Double proxy racks for all the marbles. Clem going for an early probe scout, though, is exactly what he needs. If he would skip the probe scout, this is the type of build that can deal so much damage. I mean, even when you do know it's coming, though, it's still not so easy. But let's see. He already got across the map in one of the previous matches, right? He got across the map, saw the lack of anything barracks related. At the time, it turned out to be, that was on 10,000 feet. It turned out to be a, well, what I call a Mecha Rex. Maybe we should come up with a better name for it in 2026. But anyways, it was just a barracks slightly outside of the base. You can't possibly scout all locations, though, as a Protoss, and that's always the tricky part. He has seen it now. He spots it. He sees the Marauder all in. Well, that's big. No Nexus yet started up for Clem. Do you commit to it? Oftentimes, we actually do see Protoss players committing to a Nexus, even though it feels insane. Nah, he's not going to pull that off. He doesn't want to risk that. He knows that Terran's on one base and that their eco is relatively low. So since he's already outproducing the Terran as it is, there's zero reason to risk it all. Maru is going to be very disappointed that there is no blind Nexus here on the low ground. He really wanted to be playing against the Protoss that went for a, well, 20 supply Cyber Core into a 20 supply Nexus. Clem, though, sniffing out that something was wrong. He's going to be opening up with a one-base robo facility here. We have a shield battery already coming up, a backup pylon. I don't think this is breakable for Maru, is it? Still, though, Marauders are real strong. Nexus? No. Factory instead. Oh, Probe is actually still hanging around in the main base, too. We have a Zealot here trying to slice up whatever it can. No command center for Maru yet, though. He just has the main base, but that's it. Marauders go back home. The Marauder production has halted for a little bit here for Maru. Difficult game right now to read, though, for Clem. Like, he is anticipating some sort of big push up towards the high ground. He's waiting and waiting and waiting, but he also knows that if he moves down and he gets shot at by the concussive grenades, then the Marauders are just going to kill anything they touch. So best to chrono boost out a Immortal and then maybe slowly make your way down. He wants to build up a Nexus here momentarily. He sees one of the Marauders has gone home. Maybe that's going to give him information about it. And yeah, I think he's feeling brave enough because of it now to start up a Nexus of his own. The barracks indeed are making the flight of shame. And just like that, we are now setting up for a bit of a macro game. But I like this position here for Clem a lot. We have another CC as well here for the Terran. The barracks will make their way home eventually, but obviously Stimpack, combat shields, all the rest of it is going to be delayed a little bit. Clem now also confirms that indeed this position has been abandoned. Okay, so Twilight Council coming up here for Clem. He probably wants to go into Blink. Could even go into Charge first here. Maru is still stuck inside of his main base. He'll probably make an orbital command here as well on that CC before heading down. I mean, he has one tank, but he knows that this is a dangerous map to move down into. He also kind of knows that he needs to take some chances, though. He already pulls a bunch of the SCVs just to repair in case the Blink is done early. He obviously hasn't seen anything. He doesn't know about the robo facility. Blink into the main base right now with like 4 gates would be an absolute disaster. Engineering bay here to complete like a semi-wall inside of the main base. Good SimCity. Observer is going to see exactly what's happening here. And while maybe the Immortal can kind of hit from this location up over there. Oh, he sees the little blur. Nice snipe by Maru. Another Observer is going to fly in. Yeah, we're just going to sit here and try to delay this Terran player. Third Nexus already coming up here for Clem. Looks like another Observer is going to die, but that is 2 Observers for 2 scans. We have a Sentry force fielding the bottom of the ramp, trying to force this orbital to back off yet again. Careful here, Clem. You can't overextend. The siege tanks are making it difficult for you to retreat. Yeah, I think moving out like this is indeed the right move. One more force field to delay the advancement here of the Terran low ground, but it is inevitable at this point. SCV transfer heads on down. Nice moves right here by Maru across the board. Okay. Blink is going to be done here momentarily. Third Nexus now also available. Shutting down the tech labs is not such a bad idea. They're actually functioning as spotter units right now, I guess. They're not really doing anything else, but they are providing vision. You will see that Clem is already contemplating building up a 4th Nexus. A 4th Nexus, though, before Terran starts up a 3rd, is quite risky. And while Maru now is thinking about a big move out, this is before Stimpack, before +1, before combat shields, before Medevacs. But you know what? He does have a lot of units. Maybe Clem actually has moved the probe on over here just to try and antagonize the Terran. Maru doesn't know about the alternative 3rd. Playing a couple of mind games, I think. Putting that one probe on idle. Scanning the natural expansion confirms that there's 1 gas mining. Robo Bay here coming up for Clem. who wants to be making that transition towards Colossus yet again. So, there's finally Stimpak. There's finally combat shields. I think we should fire up the +1 armor as well inside of that engineering bay. The +1 infantry armor, that is. A little bit expensive, but he's got all the gases incoming right now. Should be okay. It's gonna give Maru a nice attack potential, though, if he pushes out right when all these upgrades are done. It is always something to consider as a Terran. Finally, these units over here will end up going down. These structures, that is. Jimmy here will reveal exactly what is going on. Maru, maybe a belief that he was playing against a 2-base Protoss all this time. It has been 3-base Protoss for at least several minutes. Okay, and that's gonna push the issue. He's already pulled a few of the SCVs. We're gonna go for a move out. He wants to fish for a few free hits onto the Stalkers and whatever else he can get. Alternative choice, I guess, would be to start up another command center here for the Terran, but it feels ridiculously late. I don't think he can really pull that off anymore. I mean, we're not quite all in, but this is gonna have to deal a lot of damage. Protoss is gonna just outproduce and outgrow over the next few minutes, and there go the boys! This series is going to start in the same way that it ended. We have a very different approach this time around. It's not a 1-base all-in here for Maru, but he is gonna go for an SCV pool for all the marbles. Is there enough here for the Terran to break through this? Beautiful anti-armor missile, getting all of the very important robo-facility units, rather, covered. And Clem's army here is actually looking kind of mediocre. He needs to run. He cannot fight. One of the Colossus here is already taking critical damage. The probes are hiding behind the Naturals mineral line. Another Colossus is now out, but this Nexus will certainly fall. Maru, though, is not going to turn around and go for the 3rd base. I don't think so. Is he going to do so? I think you want to break the main open if you can. Instead, he decides to unsiege the tank. Now resieges them yet again, maybe baiting this Protoss player into the loving embrace of all of the splash damage. Marines, Marauders, and SCVs, though, are tanking so much of it. And maybe, even though this game was starting off phenomenally here for Clem, maybe Maru's army is just a little bit too big. Can't believe he did it again. This is always Maru's trick lately, okay? He's got like one final card that he plays. It is his get out of jail for free card, I guess, most of the time. Because when he really has no options available anymore, when he's really unsure as to how to proceed, you can always just bring all of the SCVs and go for an attack when Stimpak and Combat Shield finish up. GG, it's Maru who takes down Clem 3-2.